Hi, my name is Sam, and I'm a content program specialist at Expedia. I feel very fortunate to have the opportunity to share a little bit about my experience as part of the LGBTQS plus community today. I just want to start by saying that there's been a lot of discourse recently about the politics of identity, particularly in schools, but really at all levels of society. And it's something that is it's really troubling to me, and it's caused me to reflect a lot of my journey as a gay person. So I grew up in a fairly conservative community, perhaps moderate, but a lot of very loud conservative voices. And so I was very much surrounded by a lot of these ideas that were very hostile to anything resembling gayness. And at the same time, my immediate family was very loving and supportive and inclusive. But despite that, the context of when and where I was growing up meant that I stayed hidden in the closet for a really long time. And no matter how loving and supportive home life can be, we are, at the end of the day, immensely influenced by the society we live in. And as kids, the collective voices of our peers and teachers and community leaders, our elders, the community that we live in, the media we consume, they all really converge to shape our worldview and our self-view. I have a really distinct memory of news coverage about the murder of Matthew Shepard. And I was only 7 years old at the time, but it was really one of the first narratives about a gay person that really stuck in my mind. And it was that he got murdered because he was gay. So from the very beginning of my development, there was this association with gayness being inherently dangerous. And then as I got older, I had many experiences in school and other places where I was bullied, where people would call me the F slur or question my sexuality. And there's something really humiliating about that, about being sort of diagnosed by others when you haven't even had the time or space to really develop your own identity. And it's especially scary when that thing that they're calling you is something that you associate with danger, and it makes you feel like you are on the verge of being hurt at all times. So there's just this heightened sense of danger, and it's terrifying. And then after school, I entered the workforce, and I experienced a lot of similar things, some really toxic work environments that were dominated by largely white, conservative, cis, hetero, alpha male type personalities. And with that, not only came a lot of homophobic rhetoric, but a lot of misogyny and racism, just a lot of bigoted, hostile discourse and energy. And it's just like you sort of drown in it, and it really weighs you down. But once I went away to college and was able to really separate myself from all of those antagonistic, toxic ideas about gayness, I was finally able to do the introspection that was necessary to find that self-acceptance and to be my authentic self. And eventually I made my way to Seattle, where I now currently live. I found a new community that was supportive of my true self. I fell in love. I got married to a wonderful man named Brad, and I started my professional career working for organizations that were so very much the opposite of the school and workplaces of my formative years. And most of my career has been spent at Expedia Group. It's where I still work now. I started my first position there as a contractor in 2015, and I eventually became full-time, and I've held various roles since then. And one of the things that has kept me at Expedia so long is the culture. On top of the great benefits and the work-life balance and other perks, Expedia really puts a lot of energy into promoting inclusion and diversity. We have this really robust inclusion business group cohort that works to promote productive conversations around various identities of marginalized groups and works to affect change within and outside of the company. And I think Expedia is a really great example of a business recognizing that investing in their employees' well-being and allowing them to connect in a more meaningful way is a superior business practice. At its core, travel is about connecting people and broadening horizons and offering people new perspectives. So at Expedia, we recognize that in order to offer a superior product and culture, we have to bring those principles into the work that we do and the connections that we make with each other. And so being a gay person and being able to work with other members of the LGBTQ community and allies has been really life-changing. It really sort of affirmed to me that all that time I spent in fear growing up was wrong, and that it was not okay, and that the reason I couldn't see it at the time is because I couldn't see other people like me. I didn't have the representation or even the vocabulary to be able to describe what I was feeling, and having visibility gives you that voice. And although we don't really think of them as communities, workplaces are inherently communities. They're organizations where people collaborate to achieve a shared goal. And for any community to be successful, it has to recognize that its participants are human and that they should be treated with dignity and respect and cared for, and that they should be allowed to be their fully authentic selves. And you know, we cannot reach our full potential when we are suppressing these inalienable aspects of our identities. The really, you know, full circle moment for me was several years ago when I started working on this project for LGBT friendly hotels. My team handles various maintenance projects for hotel content that customers see on our live sites. And one of the tasks that landed on my plate was doing these regular audits of queer-friendly hotels. It's nothing extravagant. I'm not like engaging with these hotels to make sure they're following policy A, B, or C, etc. I'm just sort of like handed this data, and I do make sure that the LGBT-friendly indicator is being added or removed as needed based on that information that we received. And although it's not really a huge part of my job and it's not something that's particularly complicated, it is something that means a lot to me because it's allowing me in this really small way to designate safe places for queer travelers to rest their heads at night. And that feels really special. So thank you for having me, and thank you for engaging on this topic. It really is important work, and I look forward to keeping this conversation going. So thank you.